Finally, we have our first injunction issued by a judge, none other than Beryl Howell of the D.C. courts, to stop Donald Trump going after law firms, attacking law firms, making them persona non gratis, giving them a scarlet letter, taking away the lifeblood, taking away their top secret security clearance. He's had a thing for Perkins Coie out of Washington, a law firm, for the last 10 years. He's lost at every place he's ever tried to go after that firm. He went after them in federal court in Miami, and Donald Trump got sanctioned $1 million. He went after them with his special counsel, John Durham, trying to prosecute one of its partners, and that failed. And when all else fails, come up with an executive order. I talk about it on Popoc Live. Take a listen. Let's finish up Popoc Live with the perfect judge for the perfect moment at the perfect intersection of law and politics. Judge Beryl Howell, formerly the chief judge, took over, or she was the predecessor to Judge Jeb Boasberg, the judge we were talking about during the Alien Enemies Act. She is the judge that's been assigned the case that was brought by the law firm that was attacked viciously in a defamatory way to try to destroy them, a 2,500 person law firm out in Washington state called Perkins Coie. Perkins Coie used to have a couple of partners in it. One of them was prosecuted by Donald Trump's special counsel, and he was acquitted. And another one is Mark Elias. They left that firm. But Donald Trump has been grinding his axe to take out Perkins Coie if he ever got back into office. This is the enemies list. That's all we're watching. This is were you naughty or nice? This is bad Santa. And to Donald Trump, Perkins Coie was naughty, because they represented Hillary Clinton. They represented the Democratic National Committee back in 2016. They tried to get some dirt on Trump and his collusion with the Russians. They were one of the people that helped bring forward the Steele dossier, which has roundly been discredited, against Donald Trump. And he sued them in civil court in Miami a couple of years ago with Alina Habba, and he lost. The case was dismissed. He was sanctioned $1 million. And the judge found that the case against Hillary Clinton, the Democratic National Committee, and the law firm was all a political screed masquerading as a lawsuit. But that wasn't good enough for Donald Trump. So he had Bill Barr appoint John Durham special counsel, like Jack Smith, but for Trump. And they went after the law firm, and the jury acquitted them. Acquitted the main lawyers there. But now Donald Trump's president. So a law firm like that has a lot of government contracts where they represent government agencies and provide them as governmental lawyers, outside governmental lawyers, advice and counsel, and get paid big dollars for it. I agree. I concede. And then they also represent people before the government, and they need security clearance in order to look at some of these top secret documents. So what did Donald Trump do? He issued an executive order going after Perkins Coie by name and declaring them an enemy of the people effectively, and that they're dishonest, and that they are violating the law, and that they're unconstitutional, and they can't be trusted with our secrets, and they're using diversity, equity, and inclusion in their hiring practices, whatever else he could think of. And he tried to fire them from the government and make them persona non gratis. It got to a point where an emergency lawsuit was filed by the law firm, and it ended up with Judge Beryl Howell. Now, Judge Beryl Howell, you may remember, when she was the chief judge, presided over most of the grand juries that eventually indicted Donald Trump. She issued the subpoena that became the search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. She stripped Donald Trump's lawyers of attorney-client privilege along with Donald Trump because she found it was more likely than not that he committed a crime. She presided over the Rudy Giuliani defamation case and hit him with default sanctions, and he got a $158 million judgment against him in the Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss election workers defamation case. She presided over dozens and dozens and dozens of Jan 6th insurrectionist defendant cases, convicted them, sentenced them, and the like. And she was around when Donald Trump pardoned those people. And she's not shy about writing about Donald Trump and his fascist tendencies. And she has spoken about them at speeches as well. So she got the case. And she's determined that it is a violation of the Constitution, of the First Amendment, with animus for Trump to go after this law firm. And she, by temporary restraining order, after citing to Alice in Wonderland, telling Donald Trump and his administration, you don't get to be the Queen of Hearts. You don't get to, just because you don't like the person or they displease you, say off with their head, ha ha ha. She wrote that. She actually said that in court. And she instead, in her injunction, she ruled that you are to reinstate Perkins Coie. You are not to fire their contracts. You are not to tear up their contracts. And if you want to do their security clearance, then you got to do a legitimate security clearance evaluation. So she left that part alone, but put them back in the game. Look, this is a 2,500 paycheck law firm. Going after them, that's a lot of people that are going to be put out on the street because something that happened with two partners that are no longer there 10 years ago. And it's a violation of, it's a viewpoint discrimination under the First Amendment because you don't like what they're saying or you don't like the law, the clients they're representing. Welcome back. Still doing Legal AF, still doing the Legal AF YouTube channel, still doing my hot takes, but now I got a new podcast. Sort of like my outlet, like tennis. It's called Popoc Live. It's every Tuesday night on the Midas Touch Network at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Join me for live recordings. We're getting about 400,000 or 500,000 viewers and part of our audience every episode. Appreciate that. It's freewheeling. I'm uncensored. I'm unfiltered. I'm unplugged. I don't hold back. I take questions. I give answers, and nobody puts Popoc in the corner. So join me on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Popoc Live on the Midas Touch Network. Till my next reporting on all things Legal AF, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popoc Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popoc Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popoc Firm today at 1-877-POPOC-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopocfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popoc Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.